Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the December Speakathon. We have 3 speakers today and 3 evaluators. However, we won't be following the usual pattern of evaluation in club meetings. The 3 evaluators will evaluate 3 different areas of each speech. Toastmaster Gladys will evaluate content and organization. Toastmaster Kavitha will evaluate voice and body language. And Toastmaster Anitha will evaluate presentation and the impact of the message. So Toastmaster Fiona will be the timer for today. All the 3 speeches are 5 to 7 minutes. And the evaluators will get 1 minute each, one after the other. So let's begin with the first speech by Toastmaster Seema. Toastmaster Seema is on the engaging humor part, level 3, and her project is vocal variety. Her objective, the purpose of this project is for the member to practice using vocal variety to enhance a speech or story. And the time is 5 to 7 minutes. Over to you, Toastmaster Seema. Seema, do you want to say the title of your speech?
The title of my speech is My Friend. Vijay Lakshmi called out the teacher of class 8B. Please come here. The girl in a candy striped uniform rose, black eyes flickering nervously. Her thick, frizzy hair was pulled tightly into a tight black plait. She came up to the teacher's desk and stood fidgeting with her uniform. Yes, madam, she said timidly. Vijay Lakshmi, said the teacher, opening a magazine. I read your essay titled My Friend and I in the children's page. I liked it, you know. It's very good. The girl put her head down and nodded shyly, twisting one handkerchief in her hand. I think you should read it aloud to the class. The girl blushed. Do I have to, madam? You don't have to. I want you to read out. The girl looked at the teacher uncertainly and said, Yes, madam. She took the magazine from teacher's hand and started reading. My friend and I. Both my friend and I are from the south. She is from Vellore and I'm from Madras. Everyone calls us Blackie. My friend doesn't mind, but I do. My friend says, so what if they call us Blackie? Don't you know that black is beautiful? When I look at her large, sparkling eyes and her jet black hair falling on the shoulders, I feel, yes, she is beautiful, but not me, with this awfully frizzy, thick hair. I tell her, black is beautiful is just a slogan. Okay, agreed. She laughs. But how do you like this? Beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. I like it. I wonder where she reads this all from. My friend says, one has to be bold. She is, but I am not. She can walk over a group of people and call them and say, hey, I am Indira and this is Vijay Lakshmi, my friend. Everyone calls us Blackie. You too can call us Blackie, if you like it. Otherwise, call me Indi and call her Vijay. That's fine. I wish I could also do that. but I can't. I've tried, but I can't bring myself to say hello to anybody. I can do many things with her. I can run races. I can climb the trees, jump into the pool. But when I'm alone the next day, the tree looks dangerously high. The pool looks awfully deep. I wonder how I managed to do everything the previous day. My friend says, hey, that's what friendship is all about, Vijay. But I wonder what friendship means to her. Whether she feels about me the same that I feel about her. I have never asked her this question and I don't dare to ask. The girl closed the magazine and gave it back to the teacher. The teacher said, hey, Vijay Lakshmi, these lines are very beautiful about friendship. I'm glad you have such a good friend. Do I know her? Is she from this class only? The girl dropped her head and just nodded it. Oh, the teacher said, she must be from the school. Is she from the colony then where you live? Now, Vijay raised her head and bravely said, no, I don't think I have a friend. A hush fell all over the classroom. No one moved. All the 40 pairs of eyes were looking into Vijay Lakshmi's eyes. The teacher just put her head down. Out of this uncomfortable silence, one cheerful voice rose. Yes, you have, Vijay. A girl rose and walked down the teacher's desk of the class. She directly went to Vijay, held her hand in her hand, and she said, yes, you have, Vijay. It's me. Thank you.
Thank you, Seema, for that very engaging speech. I'm sure everybody enjoyed listening to that story, which resonated with everyone. Fiona, can you give us the time?
Yes, ma'am. Toastmaster Seema is taken 6 minutes, 20 seconds.
Right. Okay. So she's well within time. So we'll go ahead with the evaluation now, starting with Toastmaster Gladys. Gladys, you'd like to go ahead?
Good morning, Toastmasters and friends. Seema's speech had a lot of vocal variety. The way she portrayed the characters, that is Vijay Lakshmi and a friend, while narrating the story, there was a lot of vocal variety when she portrayed the characters. And the content of the speech, there was a lot of content when she portrayed the friendship between the two friends. So she gave us an in-depth knowledge, in-depth feel into the characters of both the friendships of both the characters, that is Indira and Vijay Lakshmi. And as she narrated the story, we felt a pull into the characters itself. So that was a wonderful story. And as she led us into the story, into the characters themselves, and then she brought a climax to the story, a twist. She gave a twist to the story, which was so wonderful. So that was a great Seema. So the vocal variety and the content was so great. Thank you very much.
Over to you, Kavitha.
Good morning, Toastmasters, and very good morning, Seema. Your objectives for this speech was vocal variety to enhance a speech or a story. And I'm evaluating you on your body language and vocal variety. I would say you have extremely done both these circumstances very well, and you have taken the story in a you have weaved the story very beautifully with that strong strength in you, which is the speech, or the way you delivered your speech with that beautiful voice of yours. Every speech needs to have a good body language and a good vocal variety. I think you have done a great job on that. Eye contact in case of body language and gestures are very, very important. And I feel, Seema, the way you narrated your story brought about in spite you were not standing, I would say that you were standing tall enough to, express your feelings with that voice and the gestures. When you said the handkerchief, you folded your hands. When you needed those pauses, when you needed that voice where you had to raise or fall it down, you did it extremely well, Seema. So you have done your best to, bring up that voice modulation. And in spite you didn't stand, I would say you did your best. I know black is beautiful, but bold is beautiful too, Seema. And you were bold and confident while speaking, and that is needed for a good speaker. Over to you, Toastmaster Fiona.
Thanks, Kavitha. Over to you, Anitha, for the final part.
Okay, congratulations, Seema. You kept your audience on their alert, on the edge of the chair. At least for me, it was very well narrated, very well dramatized, with the vocal variety, with the gestures, with what little you could. Sitting down also, you were able to capture the audience attention right till the very end, that last syllable. Also, I think everybody was alert to what you were saying. Mostly because I feel you had a non-interruptive narration. There were hardly any interruption, no pauses at all, and just the flow went on and on and on. And the description, okay, the use of words, the vocabulary that you used, the imagery that you gave us, that we were able to conjure in our imagination, was beautiful. The words were aptly chosen, and therefore that story had a very important, a very great impact. And the conclusion, the conclusion was another great achievement, I would say, because everybody, I think I was sitting on the edge of my chair till the end to understand and know what it was. It looked like an ordinary story, but it wasn't. You gave a very important message and you narrated it beautifully. I would say 10 out of 10 for all that narration and the message. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Anitha.
Thanks to all three of you. Yeah. It was a very wonderful evaluation. Thanks.
Right. Our second speaker today is Toastmaster Ranjani. Ranjani is on innovative planning. The path is innovative planning, level 2, understanding your leadership style. And the speech is 5 to 7 minutes. I will just read the objectives of her project. The purpose of the project is for the member to identify his or her primary leadership style or styles, and the purpose of the speech is for the member to share some aspect of his or her primary leadership style or discuss leadership styles in general. Over to you, Ranjani. You can tell us the title of your speech.
Yes. Leadership style of my own. If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. Stated by American statesman John Adams. Good morning, Toastmasters.
Good morning.
Me, I didn't want to be a leader. I am just a person who goes with the flow. Who want to be a leader? Everyone's problem will be my problem. Everyone's issue will be my issue. So why I want to be a leader? That was my thought. All of a sudden, when our Prime Minister announced lockdown, my family and myself were like in a house arrest, which implies how to manage the things. Each one of us have multiple types of leadership style buried in our nerves, buried under our nerves, soaked in our blood. I became like 8-leg spider that walked in different leadership styles. Democratic leader. I followed Nelson Mandela. I allowed my family to take decision on their own, to take up daily routine affairs. Autocratic leader. I love Queen Elizabeth, and I monitored my family strictly to follow government rules. Transactional leadership. I remembered Bill Gates, who focused on organization, supervision, and performance. I organized daily routine things, and I monitored how my kids and my husband were doing all those routine things. And it came out so well. And lockdown was an enjoyment for us at home. Charismatic leader. It is about communication. Yes, Barack Obama, who influenced me to handle my family matters, smoothly communicating with each other when my kids were busy with their laptops and work. I communicated with them according to their language. Servant leadership. I followed Mother Teresa, loving, caring my family wholeheartedly. Transformational leadership. The best example is Steve Jobs. His policy, work together as a team to face anything. When my servant was absent during lockdown to do the daily home chorus work, and I was missing helping hand, all the members of the family were doing all the daily routine work as a team. That is transformational leadership. Bureaucratic leadership, which is best used by the government agencies. State government and central government department announced health maintenance organization, announced about the manners to be followed by the citizens of the country. Washing hands, wearing mask, keep distancing. I have seen all this done by my family and encourage them to follow the rules. Becoming a leader doesn't mean you always be on spotlight. A great way to develop my leadership skill is to take more opportunity and responsibility and come out of the comfort zone and learn something new. As Toastmaster organization states, leaders are made. Toastmaster constantly researching new methods and way to make a better leader. In Toastmasters, leaders not only motivate and inspire the members to perform their best. In Google and books, there are so many styles of leaderships like dynamic, innovative, democratic. I don't know which style I belong, but I know one thing. I learned so many new styles by taking up roles in Toastmasters meeting. It has made my mind sharp, taught me new skills. Toastmasters taught me leadership is about inspiring people to do things they never thought they could do it. You don't put a child in a walker for rest of his life because he will never learn how to walk, right? I am not just a leader, I am also a parent and teacher. According to the situation, I wear multiple type of leadership hats to be a guide and a motivator to my children and family. To teach them independence, so sooner or later they will become leaders. I understood. Don't be like a wheel of a vehicle. Be like a GPS that guides. Successful leaders are expert decision makers. They focus on making things happen. Thank you. Thank you, Toastmasters.
Thank you, Ranjani. It never occurred to me that I could use humor to give a speech on leadership styles. A very enjoyable speech. And now over to the, before we go to the evaluators, Fiona, can you give us the time?
Yes, ma'am. Toastmaster Ranjani has taken 7 minutes, 25 seconds.
Yes, she's just within time. Okay, over to the evaluators. Gladys, over to you.
Thank you, Ranjani, for that wonderful speech. You compared yourself to an 8-legged spider, and you touched upon the various types of leadership with subtle humor. And your content was, you had great content. I really liked the content. As I said, you touched upon the various leaders like Nelson Mandela, Queen Elizabeth, Barack Obama, Mother Teresa, name the leaders, and all of them were there. And there are various styles like democratic, autocratic, bureaucratic, you work together as a team. And then you organized your speech so very well. You began with a good opening, you led into the topic, and then you closed also very well. But then I felt that maybe you could have closed your speech maybe a little better, maybe a little more with a better bang, you know, a little more what the closing could have been a little more better, a little more effective. But otherwise, I liked your content very well. It was a well-knit speech, very well organized, a great speech. It was very, and as I said, there was subtle humor also, Ranjani. You have progressed as a speaker. It was great listening to you. Thank you very much for that. Over to you, Sunitha.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gladys.
Over to you, Kavitha, for the second evaluation.
Good morning, Toastmasters, and good morning, Ranjani. Voice matters a lot. The human voice is the most perfect instrument of all. And Ranjani, today, the topic, what you chose, was about types of leadership. The way you wanted to explain each leader, giving an example and connecting it to your family was a beautiful way of, rendering, applying it into a speech. Ranjani, your voice modulation was apt. Whenever you wanted to pause, you did so. When you wanted to raise your voice when needed, it was done at ease. Kudos to you on that. For a person in an online meet to stand and give a speech itself is commendable. And I would give you a round of applause for that, because I couldn't do it over the years. And Ranjani, your comfort zone while standing, your hand gestures whenever needed, your eye contact was extremely done well. But I think at times, because of the position of the camera, we couldn't see your hand gestures. But whenever needed, you were turning and the pose was pretty good. But I think in your next speech to go, it would be better if you could set your camera well, and before the meeting starts, you could just let us know that whether it is right, the position is right, and try to work on that a little more. Apart from that, Ranjani, you were too good. The speech was, I would say, I don't know, Ranjani, you have raised to a great height. And I am sure, Ranjani, the leader in you is showing. And you have proved it by being in MTM, by taking each role and trying to, make every member feel comfortable. That itself is commendable in you, Ranjani. And the voice modulation, body language, gestures, eye contact, all in all, you did a great job by doing it in perfection. Over to you, President Toastmaster Sunitha.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kavitha.
Over to you, Anitha.
So, Ranjani, we have seen you work as a leader, but today to hear about your different leadership style was so, it really made my day at least, because you brought out the humor and the various aspects. For me, it was very amazing to know how one person can play the role of different leaders in different situations. And I loved your speech basically because you brought in so many different types of leadership and you connected it to yourself. At the same time, your speech was interspersed with so many good phrases, starting from each of us has different leadership styles buried in our nerves, buried in our blood. And you compared yourself to that 8-legged spider going in all various directions. And right from the, what was that? It was a democratic leadership it started with, went on to autocratic, and then a servant leader and transformational leader. We have concluded your speech with how Toastmasters has helped you to bring out your leadership skills and how it has brought made you a proper leader in the entire sense. And loved your phrases that you said, do not be a wheel, but be a GPS. You cannot put a child in a walker all his life. So you have brought out, right, the whole speech. When I see a person, you told us how it was very difficult for you to be a leader, how you were a person who would just like to take things as they go with the flow. And then you ended up saying how you have transformed yourself into a leader, and not just a leader of various kinds. That was excellently done. So kudos to you, and over to you, Sunitha.
Thank you, Toastmaster DTM Anitha. Actually, your speech influenced me. Listening to your speech, your speech in Kerala Toastmaster, right? I noted some points from that leader's name, and I added it to my speech. Thank you very much for the encouraging words.
Anytime, yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Ranjani. And now for the final speech by yours truly. I will be giving a speech from my path, Innovative Planning, Level 4. And my project is Manage Projects Successfully. And the timing is 5 to 7 minutes. So I have to give 2 speeches for this project. I've already given the first speech of 2 to 3 minutes. That has to be done before you actually do the project. I finished that. And now I have to give the second speech. And the purpose of this speech, of this project, is for the member to practice developing a plan, building a team, and fulfilling the plan with the help of his or her team.
And the purpose of the second speech is for the member to share some aspect of his or her experience managing the project. And the time is 5 to 7 minutes. The title of my speech is You Manage Things, You Lead People. You manage things, you lead people. These are the words of Grace Murray Hopper, a pioneer of computer programming in the United States. I learned this firsthand through experience when the board members and I decided to organize an offline celebration event for the members of Mango Club on 30th October 2021. After months of online meetings due to COVID restrictions, this was a long-awaited event, and we had many reasons to celebrate. Milestone birthdays, a distinguished Toastmaster award, recognition of a former member, and 97 years of Toastmasters International. The board members had a discussion, an agenda was created, club members volunteered their ideas, time, and efforts, and the event became a reality. For me, this event was an opportunity to practice my skills at managing a project successfully. But how do you decide whether a project is successful or not? What criteria should we use to measure the success of a project? Oliver Banks says, a project represents the opportunity to improve the future. Ideally, the three factors by which we measure the success of a project include, first, cost. Did we manage within the budget? Second, time. Did we meet the deadlines? Third, benefit. Did we deliver quality? For all these criteria, the response from club members was positive. However, in addition to these three factors, there are other gray areas we need to consider. Since we are dealing with people, the outcomes are not only objective, but also subjective and dependent on people's feelings. Let me highlight two of them. First, have we taken the right approach? And what is the right approach? Have we been above board in all our dealings? Have we been honest or unethical? Have we nurtured or damaged relationships? Have we improved the functioning of our organization or created more confusion? In my case, in this case, my experience said yes. We had open and honest discussions in planning the event and listened to the opinions and suggestions of the board as well as club members on Zoom, on WhatsApp chats, and phone calls with all those involved. We certainly nurtured relationships by acknowledging the special events and achievements of members and created an opportunity for fellowship and fun that was eagerly awaited. And we also improved the functioning of our club organization because an event like this builds rapport among club members and enables future cooperation for upcoming events to take up bigger challenges and achieve greater success. The second gray area is sustaining change. Whether a change gets made and stays made. Now, what does that mean? Does the change remain active? Is the change in regular use across all areas? Is it being modified? And if so, why? At this point, I had to stop and think. Had I intended to create a change? And if so, what was that change? I had to admit that knowingly or unknowingly, my intention was to conduct an event that would be memorable and enjoyable for two reasons. One, it was well organized. Second, it was well managed. We succeeded with organizing it because all the elements required for the event were present. A great venue, all the props, including seating, lighting, and mics, the decorations, the food, and the people. Unfortunately, we were not so successful with the second.
managing the event. Since we could not manage the time effectively, we had to modify the agenda and drop an event that had been carefully adjusted in the 1-hour program after much deliberation. In other words, our attempt to manage time efficiently and emphasize the importance of following an agenda for Toastmasters meetings was not successful. My efforts to highlight the effectiveness of time management were modified to deal with an unexpected situation. And to be honest, as members of the club, we haven't been able to implement time management consistently across all the events that we organize. However, let me share with you another perspective. An article by Michelle Thierry on how to measure real project success says, and I quote, "When projects are so well integrated in the business that the success of a project is not distinguished from the success of the business, they are one and the same. And therefore, a failed project is not necessarily seen as a failed venture if it brings organizational success. Therefore, although by my standards, the offline celebration event was not successful due to the mismanagement of time at the project level, at the organizational level, the club level, it was hugely successful because it brought members together once again after an unusually long period of time and rekindled the camaraderie and friendship that Mangalore Club is famous for. A blog entry on non-traditional measures of project success says that even if you have delivered 100% on cost, time, and quality, your project can still be considered a failure because the stakeholders, the team that you work with, are comprised of human beings with subjective thoughts and feelings. If they are dissatisfied with the process, then you and your project can forever be tainted by their negative feelings. Therefore, the ultimate goal is to deliver a project within cost, time, and quality in such a way that all the people involved will want to join you and work with you all over again. And by that standard, I think my project has been successful. Thank you. Fiona, can you give us the time, please? And I think, Kavitha,
Yes.
I can't spotlight you.
Taken
Fiona, we can't hear you.
am I audible now?
Yes, go ahead, Fiona.
Am I audible now?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
you have
go
taken
ahead.
7 minutes, 27 seconds.
7 minutes, 25 seconds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I'm within time. Thank you.
So, Anitha, Sunitha's project was manage projects successfully. You began with the quote, "You manage things, you lead people." So you went on to explain how you had to manage a project and how you organized your speech very well. You explained how you had to plan the entire project, and you mentioned, as I said, you opened your speech very well with "you manage things, you lead people," and then you led into your topic. Once again, there was another quote. I couldn't get the whole of the quote. You meant project represents the opportunity, you said. And then you mentioned the gray areas, whether the project nurtures or damages relationships, and sustaining change, whether it sustains the change or changes are made or not, and whether you can manage the time or unexpected situations when they do come. And then the success of a project. You quoted Michelle at the end of your speech. You quoted Michelle, who says that what a success of a project is. So you ended your speech also very well. So all in all, the content
of your speech gave us what it was that you did in your project. So it gave us a good outlook of what you did exactly in your project, and it was a very well organized speech. So kudos to you, Sunitha. Thank you. Over to you, Sunitha.
Thank you. Thank you, Gladys. Over to you, Kavitha.
Good morning, Toastmasters, and good morning, Sunitha. You have really excelled well with your body language and voice modulation. Now, for what I've seen you delivering your speeches during the meets and how you delivered it today, I would say you stood. Your camera was very clear. You stood tall, and you were your hand gestures were very well presented. I would say that great speakers keep their body open, and I think that is once mentioned by Dhananjay, the awardee speaker at the international level. He did say that, when you need to be a good speaker, you have to keep your body open and speak. And you did that very well, Sunitha, today. And with hand gestures, he also mentioned that you have to keep your palms open. I did see you when you were delivering your speech. Whenever needed, you had your palms open. That shows your confidence level. Even in an online meet, when you stand and when you speak, the body language matters a lot. And I feel, Toastmaster Sunitha, you did it to a very good level. And coming to the eye contact, I always, appreciate the way you speak at ease when you even look at the screen. And I think that is only because of that confidence level and the preparation which you do regarding the content of your speech. So I feel all in all, you are a great speaker with a good voice modulation and a good pause whenever needed, a good eye contact, and more important, simple gestures whenever needed. So kudos to you on that, Toastmaster Sunitha. Looking forward to hear you more. Over to you.
Thank you, Kavitha. Thank you. Over to you, Anitha.
Sorry for the delay. Yeah, 1 minute. Sunitha, around your speech, it was, I should say, confession of a sort of the entire program that we have all enjoyed. See, for us as members, we do not know what goes on behind the scenes of a well-organized program. The memories that remain are only the beautiful memories of fellowship, of the time that we have spent together. But today, when you spoke about the organizing part of it, your introduction and the entire, you built up the speech very well, and you gave us not just the highlights of a successful aspects of the program. You also put before us the gray, the black, and the not so good aspects of the program. I like the sincere confession that you have made. To make the speech a little more, I think this was more of a technical speech. You could have made the speech a little more, good to swallow if you had added it in a humorous way. If you could have redone the entire thing and put it in a humorous way, then I'm sure it would have gone very well with every one of us. And also, if you could work on your voice modulation. It sounded like it all went on a little, a plain track. So if you could bring in the vocal variety, perhaps it would have been more effective. But I really appreciate the courageous way you have put out the entire aspects of a leadership. It really speaks volumes about your leadership skills.
Thank you, Anitha. Thank you.